Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to school if you are a student. In today's video, where I'm going to be sharing with you my top 3 recommendations for those of you that have gone back to school and you want to have sort of like an easy, budget-friendly planner system ready to go within your backpacks. Now, whether you're a student or not, I think that all 3 of these recommendations will work for most of you. We will go through the price range. We will go through some of the features and why I think it would be suitable for some of you, and sort of like a pros and cons type of thing. And then I'll give you my final thoughts on who I think it would be best suitable for, and then we'll wrap it up. So without further ado, why don't we just get started and take a look at my top 3 recommendations. So here's the thing, before we even get started, I wanted to make a quick little disclaimer, because out of the 3 planners, I actually have 2 of them already. One of them, I use it obviously I'm not a student right now, so I'm not going to be using it like a student, but I'm using it in a slightly different way. And then the last one, I'm actually about to purchase. Now, having said all of that, I know that some of you will watch this video and say, but there are already other options out there. There's so many other options that might be cheaper or different. And I hear you. So what I would love for you guys to do is, if that's the case, if you have other recommendations besides the one that I'm about to recommend right now, because I really wanted to keep it short and just keep it at the top 3. And even within the top 3, we're going to look at a low end of the budget, a mid-range, and a higher end. But the higher end, we're going to be looking at about a $35 range Canadian. Now, I'm trying to keep this more on a budget-friendly side. And I think this is going to, given that it's planner season, I think that most of you will find this helpful and valuable. However, I will just call you out right now that please give me a recommendations of any of the other brands that you would love for me to try out, because I would love to film that video for you. And then maybe even compare it against some of the ones that I'm about to recommend right now. So let's get started. So first and foremost, so I'm going to start actually with the low end of the budget. So starting out strong, we're going to go with the lowest recommendation that I have for you on the budget, which is the Muji planner. So I have the A5 monthly and weekly planner here. It comes with like a little plastic cover. Keep in mind, this version that I'm about to show you, they actually don't have this for sale anymore. They have broken it down into both weekly booklets and monthly booklets. But I bought this last year, quite a while ago. And so, this is just the one that I have, but I wanted to show you as an option because I think this would be so ideal for anyone who's sort of on a fence and you're just not sure if planning is for you or if using analog tools would be the right fit for you. So here we go. So this is in an A5 size. As you can tell, the outside is this craft paper. I feel like Muji really loves craft papers for some reason. They very much go for like this recycled and minimalist look. So when you open her up, the reason why I'm recommending this is because it comes with a blank weekly on one side, and it comes with a large note section on the other side. Now, I just looked at Muji's website just recently, and the way that they have changed this design over is basically you have 1 week here and 1 week here. So you no longer get the graph paper on the right-hand side. I have to double check on the full description if the notes are actually in the back of the planner, or you have to just or you just have to buy like a separate notebook to be able to get that. But it does seem thinner than what this looks like. You also, in this version that I have, you also get a monthly layout, which, as you can tell, we're currently not using at all. So it's just a blank monthly that goes on every single month. But for your purposes, especially if you're a student, I think that this would be a great hit for multiple reasons. First of all, it lays relatively flat, which I really like. So this is kind of what the spine looks like. I don't have any issues writing in it. The paper is nice and soft. It's not Tomoe River paper, but it's like a really nice quality paper. If you have tried anything from Muji, like any of their notebooks, it's going to be a really similar quality. And the reason why I actually wanted to recommend this is because for cost, it costs between $3 to $5 US. If you're going onto Muji's website, right there, currently they have it listed as between $3 to $5, depending on if you're buying the full booklet version or if you're buying the weekly or if you're buying the monthly. So that's sort of where, like, respectively, the cost changes quite a bit. In Canada, as of right now, I don't see anything listed, so they haven't actually come out with, like, they haven't restocked it. Currently, the only way that you can buy it is if you go onto the US website, and then you can buy it through there. It's ideal if you don't want to commit to having a dated planner. If you enjoy just filling it out when you have time, when you can use it, I think this is a fantastic choice. I also think that this would be great for those of you that want like a larger working space. I think that the spacing for each day is really generous, where you can just keep track of anything and everything that's going on with you, especially if you're in school. I don't think that you would have any issues with this. I don't think that you would feel restricted by the space. This actually really reminds me of the layout that you get within the Hobonichi Weeks, but you just get a little bit more space available. So those were like my reasons why I thought that this would be like a really great start to kind of talk about which planner would be ideal. Obviously, you will hate this if you need something more structured, if you need something that has both the monthly and the weekly included, then currently you would have to have two separate booklets from Muji. But if you're flexible that way and you really don't want to spend a ton of money, I think this would be a really nice entryway to get into that. And while you're at it, you can also just pick up a few of the Muji pens, and it works beautifully. I mean, I personally don't have any issues with any of the accessories that I picked up from Muji. So I thought that this would be a great start. That was my first recommendation, which I think Muji is always really solid when it comes to quality. And I really love the fact that, like, if you go into the Muji store, if you end up going to the Muji store, you end up having like all of these different accessories that could kind of complement your system without really breaking the bank. And when it comes right down to it, if you're looking at getting into stationery and really organizing your life, I think that Muji would be like a really great starting point. Whether you're new to planning or you just wanted a budget-friendly option that will be also flexible and it moves with you. Let's move on to option number 2. So my mid-range option for you would have to go to something that I actually don't have, because this is sort of what I'm actually planning on buying for one of my daughters. So this is why I wanted to really mention this, because I think that this is going to be a fantastic option. And that goes to no other than planner. So this is the Campus and Kokuyo planner. The best way that I can show you is through Yoseka's website. And Yoseka is currently taking, and no, actually, you know what? Yoseka is really interesting with this because, so Campus planners, they started their pre-plan, like pre-orders. It started early August. They do ship mid-month in September. But here's the thing, they do have a few of the, so the Kokuyos that they have, here's what we need to know. Kokuyos and Campus, they're kind of like under the same umbrella. And some of the designs from Kokuyo are not actually in yet. However, the Campus side, and it also kind of runs under the same company name from the looks of it, the Kokuyo Campus soft ring diaries are already in stock. So do with that as you will. I'm actually planning on buying one of each, to be fair. One is gonna be going to my my clinic. So I'm actually not planning on buying another Muji planner for 2026. I'm planning on just replacing it with the Kokuyo planner. And then I'm going to also purchase another one from Campus, so the Campus designs. Once you see it on the screen, it will make perfect sense, because some of them, it looks like they are harder covers and then others are softer covers, but they're definitely different. But what they are having in common is that they both have, and I think that this is kind of what sold me, they both have these soft rings. So if one of your issues with rings was simply the fact that the ring was way too hard on your wrist because you're left-handed or because it was just bothering you, well, say less, said Campus, and they have designed, it looks like a soft silicone ring all around, which makes it really simple and really easy for you to write with it. The cost ranges between $19 to $22. Obviously, this is going to be slightly higher when you're in Canada because we have to factor in the exchange rate. Still, I think that this is still going to be a relatively budget-friendly option in a mid-range way. I love the fact that it comes in a B6 size. And for reference, I do have a B6 planner. So this would be a B6 size in comparison. If you're not familiar, this is an A5 size. So you're definitely getting something smaller and a bit more portable. Imagine rings here where everything is nice and soft and you've got yourself an awesome planner. Well, when it comes to rings, I kind of love the fact that you can just kind of fold it onto itself so that it takes up a little bit less space, which is one of the things that I cannot actually say with these one booklet planners. Fold it back flat so it's comfortable to use even in like small spaces. It keeps all the good things about the ring notebooks, but you can write up to the edge without worrying about your hands hitting the rings. So that was always like one of those things where to be able to write all the way up to the edge, that's always an issue. You get a yearly calendar, a monthly calendar, and it starts from December of 2025 all the way up to March of 2027. The memo pages that are included are about a 4mm grid, and it's in a soft, friendly, warm gray color. And you also get 125 pages in total. Out of that, how much are you getting as far as note sections go? It does not specify, but once I get it, if you guys want to see a part 2, please let me know and I would love to film that for you. And designs, honestly, they're both minimalist, but also very chic. They're using really soft pastel colors, which I'm definitely here for, but it's also a really easy sell for me to sell that to my daughter. You know what I mean? I also kind of find that like when I'm kind of looking at just the overall design of the monthly, that it's nice and wide. So it gives you lots and lots of space for you to write in any reminders, any events that are coming up. And then your note sections are also kind of segmented so that it makes it easier for you to kind of create your own grid and your own layouts in whichever way you want. I think that it's just one of those no-brainer purchases where if you're buying a bunch of notebooks, you might as well throw that into the rotation because then it will just make your life so much easier without you having to think about, let me create a monthly layout, let me create a weekly layout, and then let me have some note sections. And I think that is also going to be great for my daughter, who is really now in high school. And she has so many different assignments and so many different things that are happening. But I wanted something small and portable that she can just kind of take with her and then call it a day. Last but not least. So last but not least, this will come as absolutely no surprise to most of you. I'm going to be recommending the Take a Note. Now, specifically, I have the Take a Note in B6 size in medium, and this is a weekly layout. So it's a weekly vertical layout. Here's why I love this. Besides the fact that this has made the cut because it has so many extra features that some of the other planners that I have mentioned don't necessarily offer. And because I have been using this consistently throughout 2025, I feel confident enough to kind of tell you at least about the features and then how that impacted me. So let's start first with the cost. Regular price is 700 Taiwanese dollars, which translates to about $32 Canadian. So like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I wanted to keep everything very budget friendly so that we kind of know, we're not spending over 35 bucks here. Why do I love this? Honestly, I love a couple of things here. One of the things that I absolutely love is that when I open it, it lays completely flat and it just makes it so easy to kind of write. I absolutely love the paper quality. If you care about paper quality, you would probably really love this. We've talked about this in some of my previous videos. If you haven't seen the comparison that I've done to the Take a Note to Hobonichi, I will just put it into the cards here so you can check that out. But here's what you actually do get with this planner. You get two different, so you have your 2025 annual calendar. Then you have sort of like a reminder perpetual calendar if you want to keep track of things. And then you have another perpetual calendar if you wanted to keep track of certain specific events. And this is more, I think, designed for tracking, for habit tracking, for that sort of thing. I think it's fantastic. And then you have your monthly layout with this generous grid on the side. So it's like a generous border on the side for anything and everything that you wanted to keep track of. And then we can also talk about the weekly. Now, the weekly is kind of segmented into almost like they cut the page in half. So you can keep track of events and things like that here, and then you can create your categories, anything that you want to write here. So this can essentially double as a journal, as a reminder, as a task management system. The sky is really the limit, because you're not stuck on like this one little grid that we created per day. You can really create almost like two separate things that are happening here, one at the top and one at the bottom of the page. And if you wanted to keep any type of tracking happening on the sidebar, you absolutely could. And then once you're done there, then you also have your note section, which is also created with these pre-filled grids. You also get a couple of dots here in the middle and here in the middle of the page as well, in case you, again, wanted to create your own grid and kind of section your pages however you'd like. I really love the functionality of it. I love the fact that the cover is this hardcover cardstock. I love the paper quality. I've used both gel pens as well as fountain pens here pretty regularly, but I don't find that the size is so overwhelming that it's like a 20 to 30 minute ordeal. I find that for 10-15 minutes and I can create my spread, I can keep track of what I want to. Granted, I'm not currently using this as a planner. I'm using this as a memory keeper, but you get the point. I think it's one of those things where you have to kind of find which system you want to kind of invest into so that it actually fulfills the purpose that you bought it for. For me, size definitely made a big difference because I didn't want to commit to anything larger than a B6 size. I just know that this works really well for me. I'm pretty comfortable here. I wasn't necessarily fussy about the paper quality. As long as it wrote really well on with fountain pens, I was totally fine with it. But here's your official little lowdown of what you need to know about it. For 2026, let's say that this is what you want for next year. Obviously for this year, there's basically 4 months left, so I'll leave that one up to you. But if you wanted to get a Take a Note planner for 2026, the complete 2026 Takeout Planner series will be available for pre-order at the end of September. So that's actually coming up in a couple of weeks, and they will begin to ship out in late October. Exclusive pre-order benefits will also be offered, with the details to be announced in the coming weeks. Full product pages are currently in preparation and will be released progressively to highlight the features and the details of each year. I have seen, if you look on Take a Note's website right now, I have seen like their color range. It is chef's kiss. The other thing that I wanted to mention, paper quality I mentioned briefly. They are sticking with, it's a 68 GSM Tomoe River paper from Japan. Everybody loves it. We also, they kept like everything really simple as far as design is concerned. And then for sizes, they have an A5 size, they have an A5 English version. So one that includes the Taiwanese holidays or Taiwan holidays, and one that is the English version. They also have an A6 and the weeks in a B6 size, which is what you see in front of you right now. And then they have a slim bi-weekly planner. Now, they also have some new accessories that they came out with. I'm not really here to go into the accessories. You can go and check it out on your own time, but I just have to say, like, out of all three of them, I love each of them for different reasons, hence why I have them. But I think that each of them play a different role, and it would be suitable for a different purpose. Do you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily as cut and dry as, hey, if you buy a more expensive planner, you get a better deal. It's not really like that. You need to really figure out what is the function that you want it to kind of fulfill for you, and then buy a planner that kind of suits you for that reason. So personally, I really like Take a Note. I'm kind of happy that I went with this in comparison to the Hobonichi Hun. I find that the cost is less, and also I'm just, it's is just helping me, like the fact that there is more note sections in the back. You don't get like the dailies in the back. It's giving me the freedom that I was hoping for when it comes to daily journaling. So this is all I wanted to say about that. I wanted to offer one more like quick alternative. Let's say you didn't want to go with Muji and you just wanted something like a super simple system. An alternative is also Midori's B6 Slim notebooks. These are blank notebooks, but the way that they have them set up is you have a monthly at the very beginning, and then you have space for a weekly. So here you have some sections. They basically give you 8 sections for each week, which would mean that you have the 7 days if you wanted to keep track of all 7 days. And then the bottom section can be for your notes or whatever. Like you can, it gives you the freedom to fill it out however you want. I like the fact that this is cream colored paper. So if that's something that's important to you, then this would also be an ideal option. And then you're literally just looking at one booklet only. This is if you want both a monthly and a weekly in one little booklet. So in comparison, this is essentially the same size as the B6 Slim. Well, I mean, essentially the same size as the B6 Take a Note. Like there's a slight difference at the edge there, and like it's just, this one is just slightly wider, but I think that this size difference is kind of negligible when it comes down to it. But I wanted to offer this as an option in case you're kind of sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, like none of these work, or I don't necessarily want to have like another like 5 different booklets from Muji just to make it work. And let me just see if I can find you the prices. Again, like you can find this, I'm just looking on Yoseka just because they have all the prices listed there. So B6, so this, it's called the MD Notebook Diary for this is for 2025. And in a B6 Slim size, they're going to start shipping around late September, and this costs $16 US. So really, really similar. This would be really, really similar to the Campus as far as cost is concerned. So within that same type of price range. So I thought that I would just mention it as an alternative, as a bonus point, because why not? But now that we made it to the end of the video, first of all, I would love to know which one of these planners are you familiar with that you like? And also, if I didn't mention any of the budget planners that you were thinking of, please comment below and let me know. And let me know if you would like to see a comparison video or if you wanted me to kind of check it out and do a quick little review on it. Comment below, let me know. I would love to do that for you guys. But in the meantime, if you find this video helpful and useful, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you hit the notification bell. That way, obviously, you don't miss another video. And in the meanwhile, just keep planning, keep journaling, happy shopping, obviously. And I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye.